Hi, I'm Tim from the Heresy group. Just want to have a quick rundown of some of the kit that I used and run out this weekend at Krait with Stirling Airsoft. Down at Copehill Down, if any of you guys have been there before, there's some real key factors of Copehill Down. Very, very tight CQB. A lot of the buildings have cutaways and small holes in all of the walls, so there's lots of angles to consider, especially when you are clearing out buildings. A lot of the buildings also have basements. Obviously they're pitch black, there's no windows or anything like that into those, and there's no kind of floor level grates as you'd get with some CQB buildings that have basements. They're absolutely pitch black. Some of them are full of water as well that we've been down into, and then we can go up into the roof of some buildings as well, so it's almost like a bungalow that's been converted to have a loft space and then also a basement space. So lots and lots of very tight angles. The other thing from this weekend as well that was good to note was the temperatures, probably in the mid 30s, I would say at some points. Throughout some of the day, we I think pushed to even higher than that. It's probably into the higher 30s. Absolutely no wind at all, and we were stood out in a square for a good few hours and really did test the kit that we had to make sure it was comfortable, especially when it was that warm. So the kit I've got here that I do want to talk through today, I've got the T3 gear Tomahawk 2, I've got a Blue Force gear Vickers sling, and also with the Blue Force gear attachment points on it as well. I've got the Revision Shadow Strikes, and I've got the Tokyo Marui MP7 and a few accessories on here. So first off, I'll start with the T3 gear Tomahawk. If you are interested in this plate carrier system, there is a full review back on the channel. You can find that at theheresygroup.com. So this is a much larger plate carrier system that I'm used to running out. This is much more bulky, it's much more capable of carrying more equipment. The shoulder straps are wider, it's got a full side cummerbund on here. I'm used to a laddered cummerbund. So as you can see here, this isn't mesh, this isn't just 3 straps that I'm used to running. This is a full molly capable cummerbund with storage in. It is a good platform for sure, and I really noticed this weekend when I had them loaded up. I had the admin panel absolutely locked out with a ton of stuff being TL. I had to have a lot more equipment on me, and also in the sides as well. So speed loaders, had spare equipment in here. I had a bottle of water jammed in one side. In the top here, admin panel, I had my phone, a notepad, pen, batteries, I had a small torch. Also had a small SSE camera in there and an SSE bag. The front had SCAR H mags. I've got all my comms on here and absolutely everything. So this thing was loaded up. One thing I've got to mention there is how comfortable it was. Always sort of come away from weekends, especially running the lighter plate carriers, if I've had a SCAR L or H slung over my back shoulders, I normally can feel that digging in a little bit, and with that added weight on this plate carrier, I was expecting to feel that over the shoulders, and I didn't at all, like not even in the slightest. So this is really made for comfort, although it is a much more bulky signature, and I kind of guess that is the trade-off, that you can run lightweight, but there is going to be less padding, there is going to be less comfort value essentially, especially when you are carrying more equipment, and as you go more bulky, you get more of a frame around the body that is able to carry the weight and does feel comfortable while you're doing it, and then you've got the trade-off obviously of the larger signature of the object. But really impressed with this, didn't overheat, didn't feel it sticking to my body, was definitely sweating for sure, especially when we started getting a lick on and we actually had a bit of a chasing firefight. Then because of that, obviously there was sweat pouring off me, but I think that would have happened with any platform. The padding on here and the aero vents definitely work. As you can see, there's a nice big gap down the back of that, and it really did help kind of wick away the air from the body. So running this out for the first time, really impressed with it. Definitely want to give it a few more tries with some different equipment. The JCI comms, the THG PTT, which is what this is. It's essentially a Nexus U94 converted for ray cows. Also has the aux in as well, so I could listen to some music on my phone, which I did throughout the event, especially when we were standing around or in the fob waiting for action to happen and waiting for things to get rolling. I did definitely make sure that I had some tunes going, just so I didn't have to remove my comms really, and a few times just sat down out of the sun, just take on some water, and it was nice to have a little bit of music on. that works incredibly well. So if you are after, you know, comms setups, if you're after a full raycal setup, or you are after custom PTTs, speak to the guys at JCI Comms. I will make sure a link is in the description below. Moving on from that then, this is going to be a quick breeze through some of this kit. I have used this before, but I really kind of fell in love with this over the weekend, especially running the Scar H. There was some nice big thick padding in here that really did help alleviate some of that weight off my shoulders, especially when the gun was hanging. As I say, this weekend there was a lot of standing around, there was a lot of just waiting, and so because of that, you've got all of your kit on you're standing, you've got a lot of weight pulling down over your shoulders, especially with all the added accessories in the plate carrier, and then running the Scar H itself, which is an incredibly heavy weapon. Running this out was great. This is the Blue Force Gear Vickers sling. Now, I know these are expensive. I've had a lot of people ask me about these. The sling itself is 75, and then I think the Blue Force Gear wires on the end are about 10 or 15 quid each, so it puts the sling up near £100, which is, you know, mighty expensive, but it does work incredibly well. Now, I did find before that this pull system felt a little bit stiff, but after using it this weekend with that added weight on the Scar, I just found this work incredibly well, and it does work. It's nice and easy to manipulate when you've got some weight on it. If you're carrying a light weapon, like I had my 416 on it before, it didn't particularly work because it didn't hold the base of the sling in place. But with that added weight, this system did work well, and I actually used this with the MP7 as well. Now, the nice factor of these little loops is that you can essentially sling them through any point on the gun. They don't really have to have a rigid sling mount. This will fit through the stock of the Scar, it will fit through the fixing point on the back of the body and on the front of the body of the Scar, which is nice. You don't need any added accessories. All I essentially did on here is I put a small loop on here from a grenade pull, and I attached this like a single point sling at the back. I looped this one over like so. I put that through the loop point, and then I put this one through here like so, and then just attach this up. So it worked like a single point sling, and they were both through the loop on this weapon. As you can see, works nice and tight, nice and snug, and hung the MP7 in a really good position all weekend. Moving on from that then, I will do the MP7 last because I feel like this has a lot more for me to talk about. These are the Revision Shadow Strikes. I had a lot of people asking me about these over the weekend. They thought I just had sunglasses on. These aren't. These are ballistic specification glasses. They fit me incredibly well, although a few of the guys tried them on, and with different face shapes, there was a little bit more of an open enclosure under the inside of here. So it did mean that for them there was a slight chance of a BB getting through, but I think, no more than on any other iPro. You can swap the lenses out on these. They are very easy to swap out, but these are kind of my daytime sunny, sort of glasses. They work so good. No misting up, no steaming up. I had these on my face from, first thing in the morning. You do need to keep your iPro on at Stirling at all times. We were getting shot at in our fob. So having iPro on at all times was really, absolutely key and paramount. And I had these on the whole weekend, running around, sweat pouring off me, and they didn't steam up once. Had no issues with misting, and they were extremely comfortable. And as I say, almost felt like having a pair of sunglasses on. The lenses themselves work and react incredibly well in inside and outside. The lens colour doesn't change like some sets of glasses that you can get, like the variable, the kind of variable pattern lenses for glasses where they sort of tint change. But I did notice that these are incredibly good inside in the actual darker environments, as well as being out in the sun. So I was really, really impressed with these. Again, the fit for me is absolutely perfect. These aren't cheap. They do retail about 140 quid, but they are dead good. And obviously they offer up the full ballistic protection. So if you do want to pick these up, you can get these over at Tactical Kit. So just one thing to mention. Lastly, and probably my favourite piece of kit that I've stumbled across in a long time, is this. This is the Tokyo Marui MP7. This thing absolutely blew me away this weekend. The performance was incredible. Caveat, yes, it was a warm day, and gas watt guns work very well on a warm day, but absolutely just such an incredible platform. If we were standing around, it's easy to collapse down, nice and quick. It's such a small signature. Just have it hanging in the middle of the chest. It's almost like just having a pistol hanging off of a sling around your neck. When it came down to actually having firefights and getting stuck in, although there wasn't that much contact over this weekend, the contact that I did have, I found that this shot so well. Nice crisp accuracy, nice crisp trigger, range that was absolutely incredible. To be completely honest, with how bright it was very difficult to see where the BBs were actually tracking to. They were just disappearing into a distance at a velocity that I just couldn't keep my eyes on. A few people shot this over the weekend, including Matt from Stirling. All the guys from 1-1 had a little breeze on this, including my mate Beefy. And everyone that shot it was blown away by it. Just getting into the buildings then and cutting those tight angles like I mentioned before, this is the best platform for it. I could have used either of my scars. None of them would have compared to this when it came down to cutting those tight angles. You can essentially bring the stock up and over the shoulder if you need to bring it in really tight, and then when it does come to the fact that you are in a room, I was kind of hooking the front of my hand under here and then pulling this straight back out, and you were able to get onto the optics very, very quickly, nice and easily. Again, such an easy weapon to manipulate. I was shooting this with both hands, cutting on both corners, on both platforms. It's a very easy, very pointable, very manoeuvrable platform. I will be doing a full review on this gun soon, but I've just got to say it absolutely blew me away. I have on here the Element LA5 PEC 15 clone. I have taped over the adjustment dials because I have found on a few of my other kind of night sessions out on the ground that I have run my hand over these and moved them, so there is some slight tape over the top of here, and it just stops the dials from being accidentally moved. The torch on here, white light, worked incredibly well, had the white light and green laser activated at most times, so when we went into the basement and it was very dark, this did work incredibly well, just lighting up those spaces and still being able to get onto target and almost hip fire this if needed. It's going to put some rounds onto someone very easily. On top of here, I've got a clone M4 comp that I had kicking around. I don't actually have a spare optic for this at the moment. We'll be looking for something from the guys over at Vortex to stick on top of here that is a little bit lighter, as this is a very bulky optic and actually quite weighty. I think this weighs not far off of what the rest of the gun weighs, but absolutely blown away by this platform. One I will definitely be using a lot more. So just want to say a quick thank you to Jake from Stirling. He's one of the staff, one of the marshals there. He actually managed to capture this footage that I'll put in now of me taking down the target outside of our fob. This guy was creeping around the buildings. Jake caught him with thermal, actually managed to get me on target with thermal with the IR laser, and you can see it actually take the player down here with the MP7. So that's probably about 30 meters away, so a very, very good engagement from this platform. As you can see, put 1 or 2 shots out, I think it is. You might be able to hear that in the footage. I'll just play it over again. You can see there a couple of shots go out and the player goes down, so incredible bit of footage from Jake caught on thermal, so thank you to him. Really impressed again with all of this all of the platforms, the weapons and some of the accessories. I didn't want to run into a full kind of kit rundown, didn't think it was necessary, but these good pieces really did jump out to me at the weekend. Really looking forward to pushing the training forward. That is taking speed like no other project we've worked on before. Lots of people interested in airsoft training. If you are based in the UK and you are looking to do some training, please make sure you drop us a message, drop a comment in the box below. We will start collating all of the people that are interested and start working that into groups for the winter. We will be doing an early module, so module 1 will be absolute basics. It will be gun manipulation. Again, we won't be standing in front of you and teaching. We will be giving you the courses of fire for you guys to run as teams, as individuals, and it is really about self-improvement. We will obviously be there to advise, and there'll be a lot of other guys there on hand to be able to help and assist during those training sessions that we will be putting on. But really it's about for you to come down and you know, run the drills out and to leave feeling more competent behind your weapon than when you arrived. This is a black media event, absolutely no cameras, no photos, no GoPros, nothing. So it's just something to be aware of. If you wanted to come down and film it, sadly, you know, we are actually being very strict on not allowing any filming at all. But yeah, if you are interested in that, please make sure you put a comment in the box below. Any more questions about this kit? kit, your kit from the weekend. Let me know what you ran out and what really impressed you. Make sure that all goes into the comments box below. Any questions, if you want to check out any more in-depth reviews on this kit, the sling, the shadow strikes and the plate carrier have all been previously reviewed, and in the next week or so there will be a review going up of the MP7. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all soon.